Shabbat Shalom. To a full house, he said. So we will be getting started in our Siddur with our Kabbalat Shabbat service on page 10. Page 10. I know that I understand there was an accident somewhere on the road. I know that we're expecting some folks that got caught up in the accident traffic. So we'll get started on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh as we welcome Shabbat and begin our Kabbalat Shabbat service. Yedid Nefesh Avharachaman Mishoch Avdach El Retzonach Yarutz Avdach Mo Ayal Yishtachave Mul Hadarach Ki Yerav Lo Yedidutach Minofet Suf Vechotam Hadur Nae Ziv Haolam Nafshi cholat avatach Ana elna refana lah Beharot lah noam zivach As titchazek vetitrapei V'hayetalach shivchat olam Vatik yehemu rachamecha Bechusna al bein ohavach Ki ze kama nichsof nichsaf Lirob tiferet uzach Ana eli machmad libi Chushana ve'al titalam Yigalena ufros chaviv alai Et sukat shelomach Ta'ir eret mikvodach Nagila v'nismecha bach Mahir ahuv kiva moed V'choneini ki me'olam Page 11, we'll continue with L'chun Ranana. We'll sing the beginning of it. L'chun Ranana l'Adonai Nariya letzur yisheinu Nekadma fanav betoda Bizmirot nariya lo Kiel gadol Ki hu Eloheinu v'anachnu Yisrael Arba'im shana akut bedor Va'omar am to'ele vavheim Ve'im lo yadu derachai Asher nishpati ve'api Im yiva'un el menuchati Page 13. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umehulal me'od, Norahu Al kol Elohim Aidai ki kol Elohe ha'amim elilim v'Adonai shamayim asa hod v'hadar lefanav oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho havul Adonai mishpachot amim havul Adonai kavod va'oz havul Adonai kevod shemo seu mincha uva'ut lechatzrotav aidai ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh chilu mipanav kol haaretz imru v'goyim Adonai malach avtikon tevel ba'al timot yadin amim b'meisharim yismechu hashamayim v'tagil haaretz yiram hayam umlo ya'alos sadai v'chol asher bo aidai az yiranenu kol atze ya'ar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'emunato adai So we are on page 15. A quick explanatory note to anyone who might have just gotten in, especially if they've not been to a lot of synagogue services before. We're in the midst of our Kabbalat Shabbat service, which is one where we welcome the Sabbath, we welcome the beginning, the oncoming of our Sabbath, which begins Friday night and continues through to Saturday night. And we welcome it with song. Our tradition and our rabbis speak of this almost with a metaphor of like greeting a bride, like it's like celebrating a wedding. And that, in that sense, we welcome the Sabbath as it comes in, as night descends and it becomes nighttime, it becomes Shabbat. And we will continue now on page 15 with our next psalm, and this is, we'll read this one responsively. Sonny, would you do it?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hold it close. So yeah, we'll switch at the paragraphs. Okay. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land, the earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth.
The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory.
Worshippers of idols be ashamed, for praising false gods, all that is deemed supreme vow before God.
Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine.
Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Thank you. We'll read the next one individually. Mizmor shir l'Adonai shir chadash ki nifla rasahu shir lo yamino uzra kodsho. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel betzedek ve'amim b'meisharim. We will read the following psalm individually, and we'll do the conclusion Romamu together on page 20. Adonai malach yirgazu amim yoshev kruvim tanut haaretz Adonai b'tziyun gadol. Moshe v'Aaron v'chachana. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. Page 21, מזמור לדוד. מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש. כל אדוני על המים, אל הכבוד הרים, אדוני על מים רבים. כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון בסריון, כמו בן רעמים. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני חולל איילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום. We turn now to symbolically greet the Sabbath with Lecha Dodi, page 23. A quick note for visitors, we don't ask that anyone bow when we bow or anything like that, but we do ask that when the congregation is standing, that everyone stand if they're able to do so and comfortable doing so. Page 23, Lecha Dodi, and I'll switch melodies partway through. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'lithilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi makor haberacha, mehirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kum itz'i mitoch ha'hafecha, rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, v'hu yachmol alayich chemla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitna'ari me'afar kumi, liv shebidei tivatech ami, al yad ben ishai beit alachmi, korval nafshi gala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. והיו למשיסה שוסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהיך כמשוש חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תעריצי על יד איש, בין פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We'll read on page 26, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Sha'ar Avelei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the divine comfort you along with all other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We continue on page 27 with Psalm 92, the Sabbath Psalm. Psalm 92. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov leodot la'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. איש בעל לא ידע, כי הנה אוהבך. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד, כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתה בו. Page 29, Psalm 93, we will read responsively. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned. You are eternal. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Yeah, where are we going? Okay, just counting to see if we had a minute. We will turn now to Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 30. If you are with us here in person or joining us on the stream and are reciting Kaddish, please join me at this time. Yit Kadal, Yit Kadash, Shmeik Rabbah. Ba'alama divra kiruteich, v'yamlich malchuteich, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, v'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmeich rabba mevarach la'alam u'lalamei alamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmeich t'kudsha b'richu le'eila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alama v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Asay shalom b'mamav, hu ya'asay shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Our service proper will begin on page 39a with a formal call to worship. We transition from our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our extra preliminary service before the evening service, to the evening service itself, and that begins here on page 39a.
Thank you, Rabbi. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv ha'aravim. U'ma'aver yom u'mevi laila. U'ma'avdil ben yom u'vein laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamidim Lo Chaleinu Le'Olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadata Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu v'kumenu nasir b'chukecha v'nismak b'divrei Toratecha v'tzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu v'ahem nehege yomam v'layla v'avatacha ata asir b'menu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Mi'ata et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha V'hayu advarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom alevavecha, v'shinatam levanecha, v'diparta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, v'lechtecha v'derech, v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha, v'shartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam, amazuzot beitecha, u'v'sha'arecha, v'hayam shemot tishma v'asher. Adonai Elohim Emet. Continuing on top of 43a. Let's in English. Please join me with the reading on 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other, and we Israel are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon all oppressors, just retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh, offering signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God freed them and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds, and their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths. God's children beheld the power divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Wow, it's easy when you're doing it in Hebrew and you know what you're doing with the parentheses, but I get a little stumped by this. Anyway, top of page 44. U'malchuta bratzon kiblu alehem Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael lecha'anu u'shira v'simcha rabbah v'yamruhu chulam michamocha ba'elim Adonai mikamocha nedor ba'kodesh norati lo tosefele Malchutcha ra'uvanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe zeili anu v'yamruhu Adonai yamloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai ed Yaakov golod miad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai ka'al Yisrael hashkivenu Adonai shalom v'asemi aleinu evdei v'cherev v'ra v'yadam Ushmor tzeitenu uvoinu lechem shalom me'atav yadolom ufros aleinu sukkah shalomecha baruch atah Adonai apore sukkah shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 46. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat La'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam bebrito v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat La'asot et ha-shabbat ledoratam bebrito lam Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael od hi le'olam v'shamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat Ritolam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat Doratam berito lam uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat lasot et ha-shabbat ledoratam berito lam. We continue with the Chasi Kaddish, which leads into the Friday night Amidah from page 47 to page 52, and that's done silently or individually in English or in Hebrew, whichever you prefer. Yitgadav, Shmei Rabbah, Yamad Evrach Yerute, Yamlich Malchute, B'chayechonu, V'yomecha, Ub'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Ubizman Kari, V'imaru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam olam me'amaya yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemed kudusha b'rechu Leila mikol bechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'imeru. Amen. Tasim leolam, Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam, Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom, Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom, Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam, Shalom Rahab al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam, V'tov b'necha levarech, Et Amcha Yisrael, B'chol et u'b'chol sha'ah, B'shlomecha. Shalom Rahab al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam, Shalom Rahab al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam. We continue on the top of page 53 with the recapitulation of the Amidah. Please rise. Vayachulu hashamayim v'aretz v'chol seva'am vayachal alehim bayam hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vavarech alehim en yom hashvi'i vaykadesh oto kivo shabbat mikol melachto Asher bara Elohim lahasod Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim va'aretz Magen avo bidvaro, mechaye metim b'mahamaharo, ha'el hakadosh she'en kamohu, hameniach le'amo, yom shabbat kodsho, kivan ratza lahaniach lahem, kivan ratza lahaniach lahem, לפניו נבוא ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעין הברכות. אל ההודעות, אדון אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעית, ומניח בקדושה לעמדו שני עונג. זכר למעשה בראשית. אלוהינו ולאבותינו רציבנו חטאנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך, צבנו מטובך ושמחנו בשורתך, וטהר ליבנו לבדך באמת. אכילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך וינוח ויסר מקדשי שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יקדש וקדש שמי רבה, ילמד יברך ורצה וימליך מלכותי בחיי חוד וימך ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ותרומם ונעשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה ברכו. לעילם יכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ויאמר ואמרו, אמן. תקבל סלת הון דבת הון לכל ישראל קדמה והון ושמיא ואמרו, אמן. יהי שלום רב מן שמיא וחיים עלינו וכל ישראל ואמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו וכל ישראל ואמרו, amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ratzavanu v'shapat kodsho b'ahav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshecha v'yava uvratzom inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabat. Even the grape juice doesn't do it for me anymore. Where's my mustache? And we continue with Aleinu on page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol la'tek dula liotzer breshit shelo hasanu gugaye haratza v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu kor'im u'mishtachabim u'modim lifnei melech malchei ha'mlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Jonathan v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'al u'shchinatu zo hu Eloheinu eino emet malkeinu efezulato kakatu v'torato v'yadata yom v'hashevota elavavecha Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim ima'al v'ha'aretz mitachat eino dokein kabel Adonai leinu. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech ha'kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Shemo echad.
We turn now to Mourner's Kaddish Tom. You may be seated, everyone. This is not the right list.
Wrong list?
That's last week's list. My mistake. Thank you. Thank you. We're observing this Shabbat the Yortzites of Edward Robinson, Fanny Litz, and Walter Leopold. In the coming week, we will also remember the Yortzites of Rose Goldberg, Miriam B. Cohen, David Cohen, Leonard Fox, Sam Shear, Belle Axelrod, Miriam Jakobovich, Samuel Litz, Ralph Cohn, Gerald Newman, Hannah Rudovsky, Bess Garfunkel, David Goodman, and Paul Bassa. We think at this time as well of those we've lost in the last year, among them Steve Blyer, Bernie Kiwi, Ron Kabikoff, Dan Geyer, Charles Albright, Bernie Slavitt, Elaine Beagleson, Frank Grossman, George Fisher, Salma Cohn, Lori Gupp, Ben Koff, Matt Yosefat, Peter Gabor, and Sandy Richards. If there's anyone else that anyone here is remembering tonight and would like to mention by name, whose name I did not mention, I'll invite you to share a name. Kaddish Tom, the Mourner's Kaddish, is found on page 58 of our Siddur. If you're reciting Kaddish, please join me at this time. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Ba'alama divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayei uvyomei uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yahei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalamei alamaya. V'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei yikudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Dush bechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alama v'imru amen. Yahei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav u'ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Announcements. I guess that might be me. Is that me?
Why not?
Announcements. Sure. I announced that we will be holding services tomorrow morning at 9:30. I'll be our darshan for tomorrow. I think Rabbi Shapper is going to be our darshanit next week, so she'll be delivering a sermon next week. And this week I'll be talking about football. So for what that's worth, as well as the weekly parsha. So there is a connection. What's the connection between? Yeah, I know. Actually, that comes up. So that's if everyone's waiting with bated breath, what am I going to say? So that's good. I know a way to ensure attendance. So we will start tomorrow morning at 9:30, and then on Sunday morning we are having our worldwide wrap. So this, for those not familiar with it, I think everyone probably knows already, but. It's an opportunity to learn about and perform the mitzvah of laying tefillin. So it will be held starting at 9 a.m. And it's a mitzvah for men, it's a mitzvah for women, it's a mitzvah for everyone. So we will offer instruction and help. We have a few extra sets of tefillin as well to borrow if you need to borrow some. And we will also there's something happening on Sunday. I don't remember what it is. It's something else that's happening besides that.
Later on the day.
Oh, right. There's a Super Bowl. So that's right. So we are collecting Super Bowl squares. I think we're almost done with that, or we're done with that. I don't know if we can take any more.
I don't know because I haven't talked to
Natalie,
I'm
but
sure she's got some open squares.
I'm sure if you wanted to squeeze in Saturday night after Shabbat, there may be an opportunity. And it's a fundraiser for the religious school, so there's an opportunity there to support our education. And Sisterhood Book Club also, okay, at 10:15. And is it by Zoom? By Zoom. Very good. So I think that's all the news I've got right now.
So just a couple of thoughts, and you can share with me, please. If stay here, in case it's not even on. In case I misspeak here. A couple things that just happened in service, so people understand that. One thing you might find interesting is the Mortar's Kaddish. If you looked at that
Closer to the mic.
If you looked at the Mortar's Kaddish on the English side, one of the things you'll notice is it doesn't say anything about death. It talks about life. It talks about belief in God, and it talks about, really, it's a difficult prayer sometimes for people because you're thinking about remembering somebody that died, but you're praising God for the good things that God does. So that's one of the interesting things that I find interesting in our own liturgy. Another one is when I did this, this is actually a cup of grape juice. I think it's grape juice, or it's very strange tasting wine. And every Shabbat in the evening, Friday evening, one of the things we do is we bring in the Shabbat, is we do the Kiddush, which is the blessing around the wine, welcoming in the Shabbat. Basic. You want to change that?
It's fine. This really
I wasn't trying to give it detail.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so that's perfect. That's it's a the question that sometimes comes up: why do we use why do you use a grape product? Why do you use wine or grape juice? And in a way, you don't have to. If you don't have wine or grape juice, you can actually make kiddush over bread, over challah. The purpose being, we're sort of saying, well, we're going to consume something. We're going to praise God, thank God for that something that we have, and in the course of doing so, we take the opportunity to not only sanctify what's about to go into our bodies, but to sanctify something else which we don't have something palpable to do with, and that is the time. So we sanctify physical objects by saying blessings over them, but we can also sanctify that time. We sanctify that passage from our Friday into our Saturday through that ritual act of consuming a little bit of food or drink and blessing God for it, as well as blessing God for the gift of this day of rest.
So I believe one other thought, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but when we leave now, since it's Shabbat, and you're in a different stage of mourning during Shabbat, we do not say Hamakom at this point. That's the reason we said it at the beginning of the service when you arrived, because that was the last Hamakom you would hear until after Shabbat has ended.
Right.
And I just learned from studying Daf Yomi. We'll get there in a few weeks. Anyway, we continue on page 62 with the Yigdal, our closing prayer. Yigdal Elohim Chai V'yishtabach Nimsa v'yein et el mitziuto Echad v'yein yachid keyichudo Nelam v'gam ein sof le'achduto Ein lo demut haguf v'yein haguf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra Rishon v'yein reshit le'reshito Hino Adon Olam v'chol notzar Yoreh gedulato u'malchuto Shefa nevuato netano el Anshe segulato v'tifarto Lo kam b'Yisrael k'Moshe'o Navi u'mabit et emunato Torah temet natan le'amo el Al yad nevio neman beito Lo yachali pa'el Lo yamir dato Leolamim lezulato Sofevio de asitarenu Mabit l'sof davar b'kadmato. Gomer le'ish chesed k'mifalo. Noten l'rasha ra k'rishato. Ishlach l'keit shamin meshichenu. Litot mechake ket Yeshuato. Meitim yechaya el berov chasto. Baruch adei Hashem tehilato. Meitim yechaya el berov chasto. Baruch adei Hashem tehilato. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
And I wanted to extend a welcome to Nada and her family. We can meet everybody when we get the chance. Didn't want to single you guys out too much, but do want to give you guys an opportunity to greet or be greeted, and also to say welcome. And if you wanted to stay a little bit and talk or ask a couple questions, I've got a few minutes before I've got to run over to back home to dinner, but we'd be glad to hang out for a few minutes and talk.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
When you were having somebody in trouble, you or anybody else, ask understanding, just like
We were talking about that earlier. So
the reason I say that is because I've been dealing with the schools that are also, what they're doing is they're taking masks off all the time. Because people are going,
I understand. I probably, just based on the conversation that have been going on, I feel like what I'm probably taking the mask off is not right.
I appreciate it.
Where Julian is and where what I'm hearing from folks about comfortable doctoral act is not what they're, but.
Hello, welcome. Are you a student at UC? Oh, okay. What are you studying? Oh, okay. And so was this part of a project that you had?
yeah, I'm not too close.
Yeah, you got to, but we need both to get the levels right. But I just, so I'm trying to kind of see the difference.
Did you see, I mean, again, it was so fast and it's not like, and it's where there wasn't a lot of explanation. I mean, are there any similarities that you saw? At all? I mean,
That's true.
were there? Like, for example, what?
You gotta be,
Or we can go
everything with the verses and the story. Some of the verses I read in English, we're trying to help you think that the balance, like,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
there's a lot to it. It's very long.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so as much as you thought maybe you were coming for something different, you see, yeah. Very good. Where do you guys worship? Of course.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There we go.